Hello. I was having a conversation this week with my friend who is looking for a job, and it reminded me of a time when I was looking for a job, but I didn't feel good enough. And I think this was back when I was in my 20s. So one day I wanted to go for this job, and it was a really good job. Well, that's what I thought at the time. Um, and so I was going there and I was walking to the interview. And I remember I started to feel really scared, really nervous, not feeling like I was good enough for the position. And then I started feeling something which I never felt before. And I know what it is now, but at the time I didn't know what it was. And it was anxiety inside my stomach. I felt a bit shaky. I didn't know what to do. So I was outside and I went to a coffee shop. I didn't even drink coffee at the time, which is funny now because I'm happy and addicted. First, we must caffeinate. So I went to a coffee shop and I didn't tell anybody that I didn't go for the interview. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell anyone. I just said, yeah, it went really well. But I didn't go because I was so scared and so nervous and feeling all that fear inside. And anxiety got a hold of me. So I just sat in that coffee shop for an hour, feeling so sorry for myself, man. And then just going home and saying, oh, yeah, it went really well. So afterwards, I felt guilty. So I messaged the people and said, sorry, I couldn't make it. I made up some excuse, some lie. And they said, not to worry, can you come back in on this day? And it was kind of like I was given it a second chance. So then that day came and I was walking down the street and I started feeling that anxiety and that nervousness again. And I thought to myself, sorry, I just have to do it for me, really. So I went in. I must have been the worst interview person in the world. I was nervous. I was shaky. I felt so sick to my stomach. Then he started asking me all the questions. I still felt nervous. I'm sure my face was red. I'm blushing, but I overcome it. And I thought, okay, I faced it. My fear, I'm going to get the position, right? And then they said I didn't get the job. And then I felt worse. I was thinking, like, okay, I was right in the first place. I wasn't good enough. This is the thing. We all have this programmed into us. And you may think you don't, but after all the years I've been working with clients, I'm not good enough. It's usually the foundation of nearly every problem they have. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not educated enough. There's enough of enough. So there's something that I heard once, which I do. And it was by, who was it by? Marissa Peers, who's like the UK #1 hypnotherapist. And she was working with a celebrity. And the celebrity was rich, wealthy, but just wasn't happy. And when she went to work with him, obviously it came up not good enough because it's mainly the foundations. And she gave him, well, she went around apparently and drew on his mirrors and drew everywhere the words, I am enough. Until he started to feel enough, because that's how your subconscious mind works. That your subconscious mind can change, but it usually changes with repetition, saying, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, good enough. Eventually, we'll kick out, I'm not good enough. The other way is to use hypnosis, which is quicker, which I do if you're interested. And then the third way, which is usually how people change, and I'm sure you've changed this way, is by like boom, like emotional impact. Like someone got cancer, so you stop smoking. You're in a car crash, so you stop driving. So usually it's a bad emotional impact. So do you want to wait to have an emotional impact or try it today to make yourself feel better? So this is what I do. I get post-it notes and and sometimes I write it on the mirror, but I stick that post-it notes everywhere. On the mirrors is really good because sometimes you're in the bathroom and you're getting ready and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough. I put it on the mirrors everywhere in the house. And when you start, you could put it everywhere because every time you look at it, you're reading it and you're repeating it, right? So if your mind works in repetition, repeat it as many times as you can. Stick them everywhere. Stick them on your head like if you have to. And when you start doing it, you're going to start to feel like you are good enough. So after that day, I'll tell you the end of the story. After I didn't get the job, I started thinking, okay, I need to feel good enough. And then by some miracle, or I don't know if it's a miracle or if it's the way the universe works. So a few weeks later, they called me. So the person they hired, it didn't work out. And they asked me, did I want to come? Did I want the job? And then I thought, no, I'm good enough. I'm too good. I'm not your second choice. See how the boundaries was there. And then when I said that and hung up, I felt, wow, empowered. Guess what happened next? They called me back and offered me, I think it was 3 or 5,000 more per year, which then I accepted because I needed the money. And when I got the job, it was like a reception PA job at the time. And then what happened, it was for a recruitment consultancy. That job turned into a recruitment consultant, which turned into PA, which snowballed and opened to so many doors for me. See, sometimes you just got to feel you're enough and you will be enough. So I want you today to go out and put them everywhere. And you'll see the impact of, you'll start to change internally. Also, for a bit of fun, pass it to someone. Tell them they're good enough because we all would like to hear that we are enough. Go out and have a fantastic Thursday, and it's Friday tomorrow.